everyone. Brought a little small group in person because of the roads. But we have quite a few participants online. So if you're all joining us online today, please do your introduction in the chat for me. And then let's start with the introduction.
Good morning, I'm Eric Roth. I work as Deputy County Administrator here at Deschutes County.
Hi, my name is Robin Church. I'm with Three Pines HOA, the Summit West Neighborhood District and Project Wildfire Coalition.
I'm Kyle Collins. I work with the Deschutes County Planning Division.
Bob Lickney, which is HOA.
Todd Dublin, the lead planner with the Deschutes Soil Water Conservation District. Gary Marshall, Executive Director of Fire District.
Monty Damarel, representing Newberry Regional Partnership and Upper Deschutes River communities.
Jackie Nerski, Pacific Power Emergency Manager for the Central Wires District.
Lauren Street, Deschutes County Natural Resources Specialist.
Megan Somerton, Central Oregon Tree Experts.
I'm Kevin Moriarty, Deschutes County Forester.
Brent Heiner, Deschutes County Fire Adapted Communities Coordinator. If you're just joining us online, please go ahead and do your intro in the chat. That would be very helpful for me. And Kevin, do you have anything?
Sure. Let's see. For the bin rental program, we have received 46 applicants for that. So it's taken us a little bit to review. We have a review team scheduled this week on Wednesday to review those applications and potentially announce awards next week. So we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, it was quite a few applications. The qualified pool has also been, we've also put out the intent to award. We have 21 vendors on the qualified pool this year, which is a pretty good amount. We've gone through the protest period, so now we just need to send out the retainer agreements. And so we'll be sending those out to the 21 vendors for that. As far as the community wildfire protection plans, our Upper Deschutes community wildfire protection plan has just been signed, so that one is officially updated now. And then we are putting out the east-west one for review, and that should be, it's not published yet, or is it?
It is out for 30-day review until the 17th of April.
Okay, so it's out for review. We're going to be putting a press release out for that too, but the east-west one's out for review. And then the Greater Sisters CWPP, the first meeting for that will be on April 14th at 10. Yeah.
10 to 11:30. We're going to be meeting at the Sisters City Hall.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested in joining, you can just email me and I'll give you the details.
And that's what I got for announcements.
All right. So this morning we have Jackie Nerski from Pacific Power. She is giving us a presentation today. Thank you so much. I didn't realize you were coming all the way from Portland.
Oh,
so
no,
thank you.
I love coming out here. Any excuse to come out here is fantastic.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so I'll be talking about, so we have quite a few new things going on this year in particular. So I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of introduce some of the new structures and programs that we have, along with, of course, the BSPS procedure. Hasn't really changed too much, but we have some programs to align with it as well. So I'll be introducing kind of more of the structure of our emergency management culture within Pacific Power. It's grown massively over the last year. And then our new programs and then the PSPS procedure. So this is kind of like our structure right now. We have our meteorology, and we have like our access emotional needs. We have planning groups. We have 3 emergency managers on the Oregon, California, and Washington side. We have, because Pacific Power also incorporates Pacific Core, and Rocky Mountain Power, we have 3 emergency managers on the Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming side. So, and with that, we have developed our wildfire intelligence center. And so we have 4 new individuals there. I'm also the interim program manager for that as well. So I'm doing 2 jobs at one time. Super fun. But the development of that program has been amazing because a lot of the bigger utilities, especially in California, have these watch centers, and it allows them to do all different kinds of things. And I'll introduce that program to you in a little bit. We've also incorporated a fire and emergency response group. So we used to have contractors that we would send out to fires and stuff, and it got, of course, very expensive and time consuming. And so we developed our own in-house group of individuals that can respond to fires and give us intel back. They are past chiefs of different areas. So we have 2 in our South Wires area. 1 will be here in Bend soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then we do have 1 up in Yakima area. And so so that's really exciting because then we have access to somebody that can talk the talk, somebody that knows fire, knows all of the chiefs, knows how the things run, how incident command structures are on scene, everything like get better. And then we also have our meteorology group as well. So just to kind of let you guys know, we're building out our group to be really, all encompassing and hopefully more situational awareness to prevent those fires.
Oh, here.
This is my territory. I'm Jackie Nerski. I am with emergency management. I am kind of like the liaison between all of these different districts in our company. So fire groups, anything like that. So if there's a fire or if there's a storm or any kind of help that anybody in these districts need, I am the contact for that. So these are the areas that I visit regularly. So all the way from the coast.
Here, Bend District.
Currently, just kind of want to give you guys a picture of what our territory looks like. It's just in Oregon, we have over 623,000 customers, 293 substations, lots of distribution and transmission miles.
Got it up here.
Yeah, sorry, got it. I was trying to mute everybody.
So that's okay. And so approximately over 22,000 transmission and distribution lines. So we cover, even though we're a smaller utility, of course, Pacific or PG&E is a very large one. We do cover quite a bit of territory within Oregon itself. This slide kind of goes over some of the accomplishments that we've had throughout 2024. We've had implemented a new PSPS circuit forecasting tool. This tool helps us, if the conditions indicate that a PSP event may occur or be necessary, it allows us to quickly identify those circuits that might be impacted by PSPS and the forecasted timing of the event on those circuits. So it helps customer notifications, get those out quickly. For situational awareness, we continue to build out our network of weather stations. So what's great is that we have an internal group that is working with all of our different weather stations and building those out consistently so that we have more awareness exactly where our lines are to be able to understand. Can't get my, there we go. To understand exactly, what the weather is and what the conditions are in every area of our territory. We continue to work in our vegetation management and improving that in our equipment inspections. For system hardening, we're rebuilding our overhead distribution lines in areas of heightened wildfire risk, continuing to replace or upgrade relays, reclosers, and expulsion fuses. Currently, we have over 12,364 incremental trees pruned or removed, and over 35,000 poles cleared. So that's a huge accomplishment, considering last year it was pretty much almost half. So we really stepped up a lot of our vegetation management as well. and inspection. So we've inspected over 116,144 transmission distribution facilities. We've replaced or upgraded 50 relays and reclosers. That helps us understand or respond to fires better. Rebuilding 83 miles of overhead lines with covered conductors. So that makes it so that those lines don't slap against each other and cause sparks. Installed over 371 communicating fault current indicators. So that tells us over wireless kind of what's going on in that area. And we've replaced over 9,063 expulsion fuses. So
Jackie?
Yeah.
Could you just clarify if PSPS stands for Public Safety?
Public Safety Power Shop. Yeah, so it's a very common practice among utilities, especially in the last year with like the Lahaina fires, the Southern California fires, being more proactive about public safety power shutoffs to prevent those fires when those extreme conditions occur. And we'll talk more about that too. Thank you. So we have some of our, strategies and mitigation approaches, situational awareness, risk modeling that we talked about, short-term forecasting. Some of the operational practices, we've increased our strategies during fire risk periods, deployed more sensitive coordination equipment. So understanding those expulsion fuses and the enhanced safety settings and stuff. We've strengthened our system and became more resilient. And then of course, engagement, which includes all of that, which is communicating and connecting with our customers, our communities, doing trainings, doing outreach, working with our tribal nations and public safety partners. So really helping them understand what we can help, what we can do. Communicating more regularly and clearly with our regulators and then with our industry as well.
What does that mean, line rebuild fault indicators and sectionalizing? What's sectionalizing?
So sectionalizing allows us to take, so instead of having an entire circuit shut down remotely, we're able to sectionalize it and we have more like remote ability to do a smaller section of that. So it's less impact to our customers.
So it shut off different
Yeah.
areas, if you will, instead of whole system grid.
So sometimes with the remote capabilities, sometimes they only have an entire circuit they can shut down. And so for us being able to sectionalize that circuit, they put in more remote capability. We go from like maybe shutting down 2,000 people to maybe like 30.
So, well,
So it's a massive impact because sometimes like we have to have, so the ones that don't have like remote, the sections that don't have remote, we would have to shut down the whole circuit, or we would have to wait for alignment to get out there and actually individually physically shut them down. So that allows us remotely to be able to do it in a smaller capability when there's areas that it might take alignment an hour, 45 minutes or something to get out there. So, when we're responding to a fire, it's really important to be, paying attention to the timelines of it. How close is it to our lines? And if it gets too close, then we have to shut down the whole circuit. That makes a huge impact to our customers, so we don't want to do. So being able to sectionalize it, being able to alleviate the alignment having to get out there, quickly, it helps to be able to have it, that helps the customers in that instance. So,
thanks.
sorry, I'm like, I have a science section, so I'm like trying to not lose my voice. So this, like I said before, the safety of our customers, our community is 100% our top priority. And it actually over, reliability, we used to tote, like reliability was our number one, our concern, number one focus. And we've switched that to even, now customer and community being our top priority, even over reliability. So if it comes to a point where there is safety issues, fire or something like that, that might, affect our customers or our communities, we will take that over reliability to our system. So we've invested in programs to help give us better situation awareness and response to potential fires in our service territory, like previously mentioned with our meteorology group, as well as our wildfire intelligence group and our wildfire emergency response groups. And I'll talk about a little bit about those in a little bit. Distribution covered conductor is the largest component of PAC system strengthening. Undergrounding is a strategy, but we use it when it's considered project by project, because it can be 2 to 3 times more expensive. A lot of people are they're like, run to, bury your lines. But there's so much that comes into consideration with burying your lines that the cost to the customer, because it's going to go to the customer, is unrealistic. So we have to weigh that project by project. We've also adopted advanced fuse savers and reclosers to sectionalize that. So that helps to lessen that impact to our customers. It also helps us to locate those problems faster so that we can get power back on quicker too, if it goes out. So our approach to situation awareness includes monitoring of all the conditions that create fire risk. This monitoring is done by our utility-owned weather stations. So we own those weather stations, so we can see at any time what's going on with those. And other data sources to forecast and access or assess risk and inform real-time decision-making. So we perform dynamic risk assessments throughout situational awareness and weather forecasting that can be done in near real time. We have approximately 200 weather stations installed by the end of 2025 over the Oregon territory that collect and provide data to all of our meteorologists so they can do their modeling in-house. The weather data we collect is also available online at that website. Anybody can go to it at any time. It does show by pole. So it's not going to give you like the entire central area, weather forecast like you would get on the news. But it will give you, if you know what an area is that you're located at, it can tell you the weather, the wind speed, the humidity, the temperature, all of that information right there at that location. We are launching our Wildfire Intelligence Center in 2025. This is aimed at enhancing our wildfire response and safety. So what we call the WIC team, not to be confused with the federal WIC team, because there is one now. I feel like we developed it first, but that's okay. Is composed of experts in all hazard and emergency management as well as wildfire response. They're currently operating out of Medford, Oregon, and that is a region with the highest fire risk for our company currently. So we're really lucky to have all of these individuals that have the experience that they have operating out of there. And these individuals have had wildfire firefighting experience. They have all kinds of emergency management experience. So the intel that they bring to our company is absolutely invaluable. Our goal is to provide 24/7 monitoring of wildfire events, and then providing those timely stakeholder notifications. So we use our connections with our wildfire dispatch locations, their intelligence of our systems and our notification systems. We've connected with all different kinds of applications to provide that immediate notification to us of any wildfires. So they'll take that information and they'll vet it with dispatch or fire or our fire emergency managers to be able to understand exactly what's happening with that fire, how far it really is away from our lines, what is the threat, and where do we go from there. So it's something that we're really excited about. So when I talked about a little bit before was our fire emergency response group. So we have fire emergency managers that provide resources to support our transmission and distribution operations during wildfires and other incidents. So they are actually, these individuals are fire chiefs. They understand fire, but they also understand other incidents as well. So if we have an all hazard incident where it's like a massive snowstorm like this, they're able to help us contact those public safety partners, to work with them, to be able to, they understand, incident command, putting in a community resource center, stepping up all these different resources. How do we get, things to our community quickly? So they are going to be invaluable throughout the entire season from, either fire or storm or, response, any kind of that. So we're super excited about these individuals. We're kind of piloting this program. We're expanding it throughout our Pacific Power territory. Eventually it will get to our Rocky Mountain territory, but unfortunately we have the highest fire risk over here. So we get to have those individuals here with us. They will also be providing training to those local fire groups about what Pacific Power does. So that way we can have that better relationship and that better coordinated response. That has been something that Rocky Mountain Power has been able to do with emergency managers. But here with our high fire response and all of the other things that are going on, we don't have the bandwidth here to do that. So that's fantastic that these individuals will be able to reach out to those fire groups and be able to provide that training, that relationships, those coordination.
Is that in place now?
It is in place now. We had 2 individuals. One comes from CAL FIRE. He was a chief in the Siskiyou areas. And then we have the actual retired chief from Medford is our other individual that's down there in Southern Oregon. And Yakima, he was a fire chief, I believe, in the LA or above LA kind of area, Central California area. And so he did wildfire there. And so he's moved up to Yakima. We have an individual in Bend. I do not know his experience yet because I haven't been able to meet him, but that's coming soon. So we're super excited about that because these areas are very susceptible to fires, and being able to have that coordination and that connection and response directly in our area all the time is going to be incredibly valuable. So we're super excited. So getting into the some of the strategies that we use, to prevent wildfires. Just understanding, like, of course, as we all know, wildfire is increasing. It's not a condition. It's not a date. It is going to happen. So understanding that we need to help prevent wildfires from the start and reducing those impacts on our customers and our communities. So how do we do that? We have 24/7 monitoring. Even during low fire risk periods, all of our meteorologists are consistently monitoring all of our weather stations, all of the different situations with vegetation, fuels, what is the situation? So they have, coordination and connection with all those different groups that have all of that information, and they're able to pull that, translate it to us in a way that we can understand and respond to. We have enhanced safety settings on our circuits. So, but that does, of course, as we know, it throws out that expulsion fuse. There does increase that, the outages, and increases the response time to be able to turn that power back on. But it's an invaluable tool to be able to help prevent that fuse from continually sparking and trying to turn back on when there is maybe, a tree on there or some other kind of thing that's causing that and it could create a fire. And then, of course, we end up going into, if there is that hottest day, the windiest day, the driest day, is that PSPS potential. So understanding, when is that? And our meteorologists are consistently monitoring that. And that is a condition that we need to understand that is probably going to increase. So, giving you that information right now, that we will be more sensitive, I believe, to the PSPS as time comes. We have been very conservative over the last couple of years of PSPS, and I think that is going to become a more commonality in the near future. So be understanding that is coming more often.
How is your vegetation monitoring? How are you doing that on on the green season, or are you just looking at, because I'm looking at right now. So we have snow on the ground. We've had a good water season right now for snow, which is going to reciprocate with a lot of grass growth. That kind of, do you have people going out kind of monitoring what types of low-lying fuels there are going to, and then that kind of goes into the forecasting for your different severity ratings?
No, that's a really good question. So we don't actually employ fuel monitors in our company. There are other utilities that do that. And they actually go out and they take the fuels up, they dig them up, they test them for humidity and what the status is in all of their territory. Our territory is ginormous. And so it would be a huge ask. So what we do is we partner with organizations that monitor that, and we get that information from them. And they give us the information of, this is the humidity in your area. This is how often are, how tall the fuels are. This is what it's like. And so we take that into consideration into our modeling.
Okay, so you rely on other
Yeah.
partners and stuff too.
I believe eventually, I hope, is that was where we'll go. We'll actually have, in-house, especially in our high fire risk areas, that we'll have fuel analysts. And be in there. That's a trend that a lot of utilities are going to. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're just building a lot of the practices that they've had for like 5 to 10 years in California. So, we're taking these steps to try to get there. We're just not quite there yet, but we do have systems in place to be able to get that information to us.
So you're probably using like raw stations and things like that for fuel mixture.
And our meteorologists partner with a meteorology group that has fuel information, fuel moisture information and stuff. So I don't know the name of it, but
Yeah.
I hear them talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So
What's that, as far as like the de-energizing the lines, like what, could that happen pretty instantaneously? I mean, what's the kind of the time frame from when the decision is made till the lines are de-energized and the outreach is done for that action?
yeah, so I have a slide all about that information specifically, but I will kind of touch on it now, then we can go into a little bit more. So typically we're looking 5 to 7 days out at our meteorologists all the time. Of course, 7 days isn't necessarily realistic on the accurate data. So we are looking from the 5 to 7 days every day, every couple hours, we're monitoring it until it becomes like, okay, this is really going to happen. So at that 72-hour mark is when we are like on it. We're notifying our public safety partners. We're saying, hey, this is a watch. We're watching this. This is a potential. Please be prepared. Hold on a second, sorry. At 48 to 24 hours, that's when we start notifying our customers.
Yeah.
And our medical baseline individuals or access and functional needs individuals as well, to try to hopefully get them some advanced notifications. But one of the practices, we have really 3 practices that we use, which is one is in our enhanced safety settings, which was previously elevated fire risk. So these are enacted. They actually go and physically turn these on at every single pole, in every single circuit. So all of our circuits, in the beginning of the season, we go, okay, it is now fire season. We're going to enact our enhanced safety settings. So our operations group goes out to all the different circuits, turns on these enhanced safety settings. And what it allows is that if there is, like a tree or something that falls on those lines, the lines typically try 3 times or 4 times to be able to try to turn back on. It takes that and opens it up so that it's completely shut off. Then the lineman goes out, they look at the line, they try to see what happened, and then they fix it and put that, they close it back up so that the power's back on. It does take longer for power to get back on, but it allows us to not have that spark continually trying to happen, catch that tree on fire, and cause wildfire. So we're constantly reassessing all of our territory to incorporate every year. We're constantly assessing on like, does this area, does this need to be in enhanced safety settings? Does it not? Did it help last year? Did it not help last year? How many, expulsions did we have? How many fuse settings did we trip? So they're constantly analyzing it to make sure that we're correct in our settings that we have. Again, like I said, customers and communities are our top priority. And of course we understand, the impact of de-energizations. We understand the impact of power outages. And sometimes they can be, life-threatening, and then sometimes they can be really, really bad situation. But our priority is, of course, will always be not causing wildfires and not causing any kind of issue to our, impacts to our communities and our customers. So we have enacted this last year our wildfire de-energizations. They are emergency de-energizations. They happen right away, and it's in response to an actual wildfire in the area. So enhanced safety settings are a preventative measure, against anything falling on our lines, and emergency de-energizations is a reaction to a wildfire that's in our area, to not spread that wildfire, and to also help prevent any kind of impact to those that are fighting the fires there. So we don't want, firefighters to be exposed to live wires. And so any fire that's within a certain range of our lines, we do shut the power off to prevent that fire from growing or affecting those that are fighting the fire. So this kind of shows you how many 2024 was a record year for fires. And so that shows you how many fires we actually really had within our area and that we responded to. So the blue is the emergency centers de-energizations, and the red is kind of like where we have enacted like our enhanced safety settings. And that goes along exactly with those really high risk fire areas, as you can see. So we talked about public safety power shutoffs. Again, it is a tool that is being used very widely within all the utilities. So we're talking, all the way from, California now to Texas, Hawaii. There's like never seen before areas are now using public safety power shutoffs as a tool to help prevent fires. And we're all recognizing this is a risk in every area, even if we haven't thought about it, but we still need to prepare. A lot of those areas are calling us. Colorado called us and said, how do you do that? How are you doing those? We need to be able to train us and stuff. So we've been able to really kind of set a standard for, hey, when it is you have your meteorology group telling you this is the driest day, the hottest day, the highest winds in your area. And we've taken 30 years of data to try to understand that. We were able to predict, if that might be a potential. And so we watch. And so is that outage risk compared to wildfire risk and when those intersect? So, speaking to what our gentleman here was asking, we start monitoring, of course, 5 to 7 days out, but we start our reaction or our proactive approach at really 72 hours. That's when we are notifying our public safety partners. We are reaching out to other utilities to let them know. We are identifying the conditions and the lines that are associated with this process. And so understanding that the PSPS really has 4 different phases, even though there's really only 3 of them up there. The 4 phases are watch, warning, execution, and restoration unless canceled or ended. So our meteorologists are identifying those conditions that are severe enough for that PSPS. We're reaching out to all of those individuals I told you about, especially those critical facilities. Some of those critical facilities need that extra time to be able to shut down their processes so that they don't lose money, they don't lose out stuff. So they're we can try to give them that advanced notification. Sorry. The outreach allows advanced notification, coordination with our emergency management group, monitoring for our partners in our critical facilities. While we're reaching out, our operations groups are patrolling those lines for any corrective action that they can actually proactively do. So if the conditions stay on target or worsen, our meteorologists will work with our operations group to identify those circuits that will be impacted. We will then enter that 48 to 24-hour watch phase. And at that phase, we're reaching out to our medical baseline customers via phone. And we're actually talking to them and saying, you know, what do you have? What kind of needs do you have? What kind of, what's your situation? What do you need? Do you need a generator? Do you have a plan? Do you have somebody you can stay with? You know, so we're really trying to help them work through that process. Sorry. We also reached out to our contractors and our local EM to start identifying areas that we can maybe put up a community resource center. And if it continues to persist, we'll enter that PSPS warning phase, where we send out customer notifications, updates to our medical baseline customers, and then public safety partners that a possible de-energization may occur. We will continue notifications every 4 hours until either a cancellation or that execution phase. When circuits are de-energized in the execution phase, the updates are sent to customers and partners every 2 to 4 hours, unless those conditions change. Our community resource centers are also open. They are staffed and communicated to the public safety partners and customers. All lines must be patrolled after conditions have changed out of PSPS, and then allows us to enter that restoration phase. So depending upon those line miles during a PSPS, it could take hours or even longer, maybe days, to be able to restore power. So customers are sent notifications every 2 to 4 hours until that power is restored, and customers receive that PSPS end notification. So we are consistently notifying customers, our public safety partners, our critical facilities, and our medical baseline access and functional needs individuals. So, like what I talked about, how, the restoration process, it's not a quick, like, okay, we just need to turn the power back on. When we're talking about high winds in that area, there's lots of potential for any kind of debris to fall on our lines or to get around our pools. So we don't want to turn that power on and then cause a wildfire. That would defeat the whole entire purpose. So we really have to go out there and patrol and inspect every single line. Do we have damage? Do we have debris? Do we have anything that we need to, maybe there's a bunch of broken lines and we actually need to repair those. Sometimes it can take, like those linemen are amazing and they are quick. And sometimes it can take just a couple of hours for them to do that, depending upon how big that PSPS is. So they do restore power section by section. So you'll see it really kind of they call it step restoration. So, they go like, okay, they clear these lines, we can go ahead and clear and restore power to this area. So we don't keep everybody out for the entire restoration process. We're really trying to get restoration and power to every single person as quickly as we can. So that's why we do a section by section and opening those devices.
So most of that aerial, when they're doing the observation.
They do it by foot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. So they have to have line of sight to be able to do it. They'll do a preliminary aerial helicopter view just to see like what are some areas that are really bad, but they actually have to physically go and inspect it. So they'll take quads or cats or something like that and go in and inspect the entire line. So, and that's a safety precaution.
Especially when you're in the Siskiyous, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, and some of those areas are really bad, like access wise. We try to use, access roads. We try to use all of those things that, that are safety. Like sometimes we'll use an access road. There might be, like the power lines are, maybe 100 feet here, but we can see. from this access road, the lines and stuff. So we don't have to actually go underneath the lines. But we try to use accessible ways of travel to be able to view it. But sometimes, like you said, in the Siskiyous, there is not availability. There's not, and sometimes it's pretty dangerous. So we have to, balance safety as well. So when we talk about community resource centers, we want to be able to actually, provide, we're talking about medically fragile people, access and functional needs. What do they need? So we have staffed it with a local EMT so that we have, if they have any kind of medical needs, we provide portable water, air conditioning, ability for them to recharge even their cars. So we have a trailer that we can bring that they can recharge their vehicles, any kinds of other rechargeable, devices that they have. We even have, televisions for them to come sit and stay during the entire day if they want. We have like food and restrooms, all of those kinds of things. So we're really trying to be able to be understanding of like, hey, we understand that this is a really, of course, the hottest day, the driest day, the windiest day. We know there's going to be an impact. And if there is a fire, we're also making sure that we're, providing those air purifiers and monitors.
Do you have contacts with community centers or libraries, and also what do you have here locally?
Yeah, so we work with our emergency managers to be able to identify areas that we put up our community resource centers. Some of them we have contracted that we've identified that these, especially in like Yurok and Southern California and the Siskiyou area, we've identified very specific areas that, because we have fires there every single year, that we know these are the areas that we can use. Like with Bend, we just work with our emergency managers to identify those areas. A lot of them have already identified areas of evacuation, and so we try to put those close to those areas so that individuals can access those. Of course, not near the fires or near the fire areas. We do have contractors that provide these services and have the ability to ramp up pretty quickly because they're stationed all over our territory. We will also be, so just so you guys are aware, we have our so what can you do as a customer? We have alerts that we provide, so customers can go on to our website and sign up for alerts or through customer service. Of course, as you guys all know, that defensible space around your home is incredibly important. We try to talk to all of our customers about contacting their local safety partners, local communities, and find out more information about that. Making a plan, and having a kit to be able to, either leave your house or shelter in place or whatever it is. Public, like power outages are common, but power outages for a long period of time are not as common as they used to be. So a lot of people, rely on power. We rely on the reliability of power, but unfortunately, wildfires and storms are not new, but they are a big impact on our communities right now. And so being able to have that plan, have that kit available to be able to wait out that and take care of yourself during that public safety power shutoff or a storm or whatever, helps your community be able to respond to what they need to respond to as well. So you've been able to take care of yourself and your family first, and then so that your community can take care of their community too.
How are you publicizing what customers can do?
So we put it on our social media. We give them flyers and their bills, and we also put it in, like we have a bunch of different sites on our website as well. For emergency managers, we actually do presentations in our community all the time. So for me, I do community presentations all the way from Lincoln City to Redmond throughout this I don't necessarily always get to every area because it seems like the non-fire season gets shorter and shorter every year. But we try really hard to reach out to all of our communities and let them know, like, look, this is what we're doing. And we actually have one specific wildfire communications specialist, and she has been working on a lot of these communications and avenues to be able to get this information to our customers better and more frequently. So and I'll tell you a little bit about on the next slide some other things we're doing.
Well, speaking of Project Wildfire meeting in March is good. There's 30-something people here. We'll be able to share the information.
And that's perfect. So like those kinds of things, like inviting me to those, any kinds of, you know, communities, like you have a large, you know, set of individuals that you're coming to any kind of presentations, more than happy to come talk about it, and help, you know, give a presentation. I can make it quicker or longer, whatever you guys need. But we are emergency managers. That's what we're available for too. We love doing that. We love reaching out to our communities. We love being able to talk to people. So the more that we can do that, the better. So anytime you have anything that you can think of that like, hey, maybe I can find Jackie. That sounds great. Send me information. I'm happy to come. More than happy to come. And I love being over here.
Have you seen the information that Project Wildfire has about defensible space and also you're making your plan and stuff? Because that's already been done.
Yeah. And I think as emergency managers, we love to echo it. So that's why we don't say we're not the experts. Like don't come to us for that. That's go to Project Wildfire. Go to your local emergency management. Go to your city emergency management. They have that information. Reach out to them. Do you need their contact information? Let me help you with that. I know them. I know I can help you connect with them. So we don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We just echo what a lot of those individuals have. So that way that I don't feel like that message can get out there enough. And we as emergency managers are constantly like trying to promote whatever is out there and connect with. So what can we do as an individual, or what do we do for our customers as well? We have health and medical assistance. So our medical certificate program, I talked about that medical baseline program. So if they have, you know, any kind of, even if it's a CPAP or any kind of like you have a disabled individual that he has an iPad to be able to talk. Those are medical certificate program eligible. So anything outside the box, you think, oh, this can't be. Go for it. Go and sign up for it. Because not only does it, affects like helps you with your billing, but it also helps you with notifications, advanced notifications. It helps you with gaining access to other things like generators during a fire or a storm. There's all kinds of things that we can do to help those medical baseline individuals. We do those advanced notifications for our public safety power shutoffs. We have over 300 languages with our customer service that we can speak. So we have accessibility to anybody that needs help. We have bill and financial assistance, and we also do backup power rebates. So we've actually expanded that program to include facilities. So if you have like a small facility of like, so maybe there's like 4 disabled individuals in a house, well then have them apply for that, backup battery rebate, because that allows that house to have that, that battery, and we can, rebate them. And
but you have to have the medical certification first.
you just have to show that you have a medical need for it.
Okay.
So like, so like, and it really is very flexible too. So, for individuals that are elderly and they need power because they can't, traverse their, they can't walk very far or something. I think there's a lot of flexibility within that program, and it's very underused. So like, get it out there, tell people about it, and make sure people are signing up for that. The facilities, any kind of facility within, our territory can sign up for that. So it's a great program. And what can we do as individuals that maybe we're not customers, but we're public safety, partners or partners in just wildfire. Well, currently we're having our wildfire webinar. We're gonna have one here in Bend in May. I would encourage you guys to sign up for it. Please come, please see what we do is we, educate the community and our customers on, our practices for mitigation, our emergency management group and everything. So these are events that are free to come to. We actually feed you. Most of the time it's a pretty good meal. So please come and join us. Or if you're in any of the other areas, we also have, some of the different other areas. If you happen to be, like say you're in Medford for that week or something, sign up, come, please do it, please watch. And then if you're not able to do that, you can actually watch online as well. So I encourage individuals to come to our events. These are put on by our corporate communications groups. But again, as an emergency manager, I'm happy to come to any of the community events that are in the area. So that's kind of my presentation. If anybody has any other questions.
So do you, some of us are not covered with civic court.
Yeah.
Do you coordinate with the other, like the co-ops and everything? Are you coordinating your programs with them? So that we're all talking the same and working off the same, trying to, mitigate the issues that you're presenting?
Are you talking about like public safety power shutoffs or?
Yeah, anything that just generally having communication with the other utilities.
Yeah, so we actually work really hard on trying to continue to communicate with them. Some of them are, especially on the value side. Some won't communicate, but we are constantly reaching out to them. And so especially when we have a public safety power shutoff, we definitely notify all of our co-ops in our area. When we have fires that are near any of the individuals, we reach out to their emergency managers. So a lot of the times we'll have coordination calls with them consistently about like, hey, what, how's it going? So when there was
what's the temperature at Meisner now?
24.
There was a fire in La Pine last year.
Right.
It was mid-state. And so, but a BPA has a line that feeds mid-state.
Right.
We also tie into that line.
Right.
And so we were working not only with mid-state electric, but BPA. And, and all of us were constantly talking to each other. How can I help you? Can we get people out to you? Do you need help? And so we actually have a mutual aid agreement within our electric company, with our electric system on the West Coast that we can actually, send people to help out. Our meteorologists even reach out to them to help them because like as a big company, we're able to, purchase programs and applications that maybe the smaller ones can't. And we're more than happy to reach out to them and have them come in and go, hey, do you need a forecast? Do you need help with your weather stuff? We can use our modeling to help you. So and we've done that quite a few times because we're all about it's a utility problem and a world problem. It's not about I'm not going to share my stuff with you. So we are more excited to reach out to those local co-ops and those smaller groups to help them and to help them be more advanced. And because if they can be just as prepared and just as supported, then it helps us too, because we butt up to a lot of those.
Right.
So if, something that like their system causes a fire, that doesn't help us at all either. And so we want to make sure that we're being a good utility partner, that we're being a good supporter. And so, we're constantly reaching out to those individuals. I mean, like, hey, if you need help or you need support or you need meteorology help or you need access to something else, let us know. We're here for you. So we do work with those individuals. We'd love to see more coordination on outreach, like with those public safety power shutoffs, like together as a board, maybe doing that. Maybe we'll get there in the future. I think we're just starting to talk to each other now the last couple, like 5 years. So
That's good.
yeah. it's slowly coming.
Yeah.
It's not as much as I think we would like to, but. All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share with you. I did want to reach out and say, I know I've been talking about in the past, we've had a slow build of it, but we have a public safety partner portal that we finally have up and running. It's functional. And it wasn't functional before. So I would love to probably in like maybe May, invite individuals to an exercise that we could get everybody signed up and we can get you practiced and into that system as a public safety partner. So that way you get that advanced notification. You could go into it and view our our public safety power shutoffs or emergency digitizations. It gives you a map of the event area. You can sign up for notifications. You can sign up for preferences on notifications. So it's a really great tool. And our goal is to get everybody signed up this spring. So that way this summer, that we can start using that as a tool to get you guys information and get you guys situational awareness on anything that's going on. So if you want to be invited to that, you can reach out to me and let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. That's awesome. Does anyone have any questions in the room or online? Okay. Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the trek over here and that was a good, informative presentation. I would appreciate you guys, coming out and doing that for us.
Yes, please give me more excuses to come out here. I would appreciate it.
Oh wait, we do have a chat question. Is the May event only open to Pacific Power customers?
No, anybody, I believe it's triggered towards, Pacific Power customers. But if you're like a public safety partner, we would like you to come. I don't know how much like, a PGE customer will get out of it other than just information, because that's not PGE or mid-states or, the local co-ops processes or efforts, but, definitely sign up and come. We have a large venue this time. The last couple of years, it was really small. And so they were really focusing on only providing it to customers. So they've opened it up a little bit more this year. And we even, are hoping to have some booths for our public partners to come and present and provide information to our customers too. So if you want to, provide a booth like Project Wildfire, that would be fantastic, to have them have a booth. Right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I would love that. And so like even our fire marshals or whoever, just feel like have to have a booth and reach out to our customers and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
No, we can definitely do that. That'd be great. Awesome. Thank you. Ray, where do we sign up for the May event?
That website, it is,
We still have can you put it in the chat for them?
I will get it.
Thank you. We'll get it in the chat, Ray. Okay. So, next we're just gonna do roundtable. If anyone has anything to share. Let's start, Megan.
We've had a influx of customers calling for the letter that went out last week, from the city pertaining to lavender reduction. So, we're welcoming anybody that needs help with that. I know that the state fire marshal is going out to give you assessments. Our assessments are pretty similar. A couple of our lead arborists and foremans have went to, Melissa's, what's Melissa's last name? Steele?
Yes.
Melissa's, presentation, awesome. So we're trying to work with her as much as I can, so we get all the same information going out to all of our clients. But we have, just hired about 4 or 5 new people because we're seeing, like I said, that influx of calls and work, everyone's trying to get their lateral fuel reduction done before spring, which I highly suggest, because come May and June, we get pretty busy, and then everyone's kind of out 2 weeks. So I just highly suggest if you have any clients that want to get their lateral fuel reductions done before the summer, to give us a call now. All our estimates are free, and we're happy to help.
Yeah, I think Kevin covered most of our updates at the beginning of the meeting. As you said, we got quite a few applications for the Ben rental program, so we'll be reviewing those this week and then hopefully letting folks know by next week about awards. So
You agree.
Newberry Regional Partnership is putting on a community event on April 26th at the Lapine Activity Center, Lapine Parks and Recreation Activity Center. It'll be from 9 to 12, and it'll be addressing wildfire, defensible space, home hardening, all those various things. We're expecting a pretty big crowd. We're also going to have tables we're going to have our partners that can have a table there. Heather Miller is going to be putting together the program along with Eric Holsey from the fire department, and Kathy DeBone and myself, and we're all involved in getting it put together. We have a meeting set up for the 19th this week, and so if you know anybody that would like to attend, please spread the word.
what date is it from?
It's on April 26th. It's a Saturday,
We said 9 to 12.
9 to 12.
My family lives on the Pine.
Well, tell them, yeah. we're-
That's why I wrote it down. It's like they're
We-
going.
One of the things that we're trying to do is get the word out as much as possible. We're gonna be working with Midstate and the Sun River Homeowners Association, and any way, shape, or form we can get the word out to people. So, anything you can do to help us or, provide some ideas, we would really enjoy having those.
And what was the meeting location?
It's at the Pine Parks and Recreation Community Center, right? Is that what it's called, Tony?
Do you have like a flyer? Because I can put it in.
We don't yet.
Okay.
We don't. Our meeting this week, we'll be talking about getting that all put together.
Yeah, we can distribute a flyer.
Great,
Yeah, we can do that through Project Wildfire.
super.
The only thing I can think of to shoots District 2 would be a fuel mitigation project adjacent to Deschutes River Woods that started. That's a highway project along with Burlington Northern, Santa Fe project, the railroad in there. They'll be working throughout the spring. It's about, I think, a $200,000 project. So Melissa's kind of spearheading that for us. And so, yeah, I think next on its way finally.
Yeah, that project's gained a lot of traction,
It has.
popularity.
Yeah. So very pleased that State Fire Marshal's Office gave us that grant that we were all part of. And yeah, that was a 3-year grant. We should be finished using up the entire amount within that period.
Great, so I'm Tony DeBone, Deschutes County Commissioner. I think Commissioner Dare was attending these meetings last year. We rotate every once in a while, so I might have missed a meeting last month, but I'm here today. Couple thoughts. So when we talk about Newberry Regional Partnership, it's already kind of has its own brand. Oh yeah, we're the NRP, right? But just a sense of place. So that's kind of Sun River, all the people in between, towards Lapine, Northern Klamath, and Northern Lake County. So it's just kind of the feeling of that geographic area. It's a vision, action plan, all aspects of community, the healthcare and arts and culture, the environment, which is fuel reduction, education, just all the different things that make up a community. So that's that big project that's going on. And it's just like the Ben 2030, 2040 that's been done in the past, and also the Sisters Country Plan. So that's the idea, kind of a big community effort, just aligning efforts and areas you want to be engaged in, personally. It's always good to be a Project Wildfire, our history here. I'm sitting next to some history here already, but, back in the 90s, Deschutes County and everybody saw that we need to be resilient to this. We do live in a fire adapted, wildfire area, dry forests. It's not unnatural to have a lightning strike fire that just walks across the forest floor. And we've really changed that a lot with all of our development. And I've seen it, when people move into I live in southern Deschutes County also. They move on their 1 acre property and they love to live behind that little wall of trees. And then the trees grow up and now we just had them all falling over from the snow. We've got to maintain and manage every year. It's just constant management of defensible space around our house between the properties. So as I say, I just share my passion on what we're doing here. So constant maintenance. Obviously, the fire map got really exciting this last time it was published. It's been published a few times. State legislature said, hey, we have a great idea. Let's define everybody's property. And it was a trigger for some. And, what I really struggle with is the fact that the fire map defines some properties as high wildfire in the wildland urban interface. And the state's generally trying to set up for, we're going to ticket you if you don't clean up your property, that's the conundrum from private property rights and what we're doing here. Obviously, I support doing that defensible space, but do you get it? And there was a statement, do you get a ticket for sitting in your own driveway? It's just, it got real political. So the legislature is going to do something about that here pretty soon. And we support that at the board level too. So, I guess that's it for me today. Thanks for having me.
What's happening with the Deschutes Soil Water Conservation District? What we're looking at right now, forestry is always a number one priority for us. And so obviously the pine area is really big and for our board and all. We're gearing up for our programs, not that we have been doing some work in the past, but we're actually bolstering that program up. So we're talking to a lot of our partners that are talking to the county. We're talking with a lot of folks at Oregon Department of Forestry as well, just to see how things can fit. One of the items is the educational piece and all. And so we hooked up with Jenna from OSU Extension, and we're going to be doing an event in July in La Pine. So that's currently the date has been floated around. She wants to do 4 educational forest health types of education and outreach, and we're being a part of them. We'll be the one down in the La Pine to help her out. With that is also working with the landowners down there. And so currently right now, we're contacting and revisiting some of these forestry landowners that have been working with NRCS back when they had the Joint Chiefs Initiative way back when. And we're kind of talking to them, actually doing a pulse check, if you will, see how their forests are doing. Also becoming a little bit more prevalent down in La Pine with the landowners now. Newberry, the regional partnership will be there. So we're going to have a table there at that. And we've been working with Heather in that educational group that she is, I think that been formulated with some folks. So there's a lot of people that are in that educational piece. So we're definitely a part of that. So I'll be, contacting you a little bit more. Just recently, I think in the last couple of weeks, there was a meeting with a lot of the folks, a lot of the fire and forestry entities with Natural Resources Conservation Service, talking about the Regional Conservation Partnership Initiative. And that was, they had a meeting a couple of weeks ago down talking about trying to look at a bigger project that goes over the northern Klamath and the southern regions of Deschutes. Where that sits, I'm not too sure, but we're instrumental in actually getting the presence down there. So we are getting close in our educational and outreach, and once we get a little bit more in tune and of what's going on, then we can start looking at what additionalities and function and support and funding that we can give our private landowners down there. That's all I have.
No big fire related updates from Deschutes County Planning.
Robin Church, happy to report that the City of Bend City Council has incorporated wildfire resiliency into their council framework goals for 2025, 2027. So very happy about that. The Summit West Neighborhood District, our Butte Neighborhood Districts, both surveyed their members, and wildfire was the highest priority item issue for people. Anyway, we provided that feedback to City Council, then City Council, and it appears that they've heard us. So incorporated within the council goals is a very specific goal to evaluate codes, ordinances, and policies that will impact wildfire resiliency. So very happy about that. Within Summit West, we're trying to reach out to our communities, our neighborhoods, to encourage more of them to become fire-wise communities. Happy to say that I've been engaged now with a number of different people who are willing to volunteer and help in that effort. So we're making some progress.
Sure. No updates for me.
Sisters Camp Sherman Fire District will also be hosting a Prepare for Wildfire Safety Fair April 16th at the Sisters Camp Sherman Fire District. This is an annual event that we put on. Dinner will be provided for that event also. And then the second thing, City of Sisters has a public hearing this Thursday evening for fire defensible space code that they're looking at to put in place in the city. So that is coming also.
I have a question. I got invited to preparedness in Sisters. I think it's on April 13th. Are you guys part of that? I think it's at the school, maybe?
I think we're attending that.
Oh, okay.
I think we'll be there. Yeah.
Is it just specifically for Sisters, or is Camp Sherman? I'm guessing Camp Sherman is going to be part of that as well.
Yeah, I think Stephen will be in attendance of that one. Stephen will.
Okay.
So.
Did anyone online have anything to share?
Yeah, I guess I have a question for Tony, or maybe the county in general. Kevin, I've heard a lot of talk at state level, national level, different conferences. One thing that's really come to light is the insurance industry. And people are really getting hit hard with insurance premiums. There's a lot of insurance companies that are leaving Pacific Northwest due to the fires in 2020, also the fires in California. So I guess what I'm asking, I think Project Wildfire could be somewhat the melting pot, or maybe create a blue ribbon panel to let people know what is happening with the insurance industry so they're prepared. There's just a lot of questions that keep coming up to me, and I tell them to shop around for insurance, of course. But some people are going, they can't get insurance, so they're going to their reinsurance companies, which, their premium may have been $2,000 before, now it's $8,000 now. And, we're looking at trying to get first home buyers into their new homes. Again, now possibly they can't even afford insurance, as well as taxes and everything, maintenance, everything goes on with it. So they think maybe renting's the best route, but even renters, if they're getting hit with insurance, they pass that along to the consumer also. So I don't know where the county is with this, with the national organization of counties. with Oregon Association of Counties? Has there been a lot of talk about this? Is it hitting the rest of Oregon, or is it just specific to Central Oregon? I did speak with a friend over in Springfield. He lives out in the forested area, but he was dropped, and his insurance came in at 4 times, for the reinsurance company is 4 times higher than Spain. So it's becoming somewhat unaffordable. And I think this is maybe our next crisis is insurance. And because if you have a mortgage and you lose your insurance, well, what do you do? And who can afford it then? And we have people coming to our fire district board meetings asking us to build new fire stations because they think if they're within 5 miles of a fire station, they're going to get a lower insurance rate. Maybe with some insurance companies that is true, but you know, it costs $3-4 million to build a new fire station. It costs $2-3 million each year to staff that station. So it's a big issue. So I don't know where the county stands. I don't know where the cities are standing. I haven't heard a lot of talk about it, just here and there. So maybe Tony, you.
Well, I don't have an answer, but we can sure get some information here. Insurance companies are in the business to make a profit, you know, so you think of it, a private insurance company charges the, you know, and this is just extrapolated, charges the rate, plus there's you know, overhead to run an insurance company. Inflation and interest rates are kicking our butt right now. You know, being able to build a replacement valuable house if something burns down. To say, so I see, oh, my insurance agent, Andy Newson on the line. So yeah, this is it's a moment in time and it's not a good situation. As I say, the inflationary costs are probably what's really compounding on us here. Board of Commissioners, you know, where it's not our domain, I've never had a board meeting agenda item that says, what are we going to do about the insurance agents in the industry? It's not us. The states, you know, maybe have some of that kind of stuff. Looks like there's a hand raised before I go farther.
Hey, Tony, I was just going to say, especially on the comment about the communities wanting to build some more fire stations, to have them closer to fire stations. It's my understanding from what I've been told, the insurance companies don't care anymore really how close a fire station is to a home or community, because in a wildfire situation, you know, it's taken out everything. So a fire station trying to get, you know, put out 1 or 2 fires isn't really going to make a difference compared to, you know, bringing in the hotshot crews and doing all that kind of thing. So again, that's my understanding from what I've learned. And it's coming down to all the insurance companies using their wildfire score algorithms with their vendors to determine what's the accessible premium for the risk in the territory. And it is a crapshoot, it seems like. So I would be happy in the next month or two, maybe the April or June meeting, if you'd like me to give a current insurance Andy Mewson perspective on things, I would be happy to do that for the group, or, you know, have a 5-10 minute blurb that I could kind of share some things and do some research in interim so I could share that with everybody.
So Andy's country insurance, he has been in Project Wildfire for a couple of years though. So I'm just pointing out that, you know, that we're very engaged. You know, the community is very engaged. A couple thoughts. Remember, we don't have a natural state of our forested areas around here. I think of junipers across the whole valley between Redmond out to Sisters. That was not junipers 100 years ago. Southern Deschutes County and around, you know, around Bend even, they used to be big ponderosas with open understory, and it was a lightning strike fire that just walked slowly across the floor, and it didn't affect the big pondos, but everything else got cleaned up every 10 or 15 years, and it's not a healthy state we're in. We can help. Every property owner can open up their property. As I say, it's a big mind change between living behind a little wall of small, you know, jack pines, junipers, whatever you have, and opening up the understory and being able to see through it, understanding that a low intensity fire across the landscape is a lot better than these big conflagrations we have. That's what we're doing here, Project Wildfire. Just a big statement.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a phone call with the Deputy Assistant Insurance Commissioner. And we talked about what we're talking about right now. He did he did say that as you pointed out, the insurance, and Annie pointed out, the insurance companies are on their own as far as their rates and everything else. He did say that there are 2 or 3 different modeling companies that they all use on looking at fire risk. He also committed an outreach person from the insurance commission to attend our April 26th meeting in La Pine. And so we should have someone in attendance there. I'll try and prepare to to not, be too overwhelmed by what she's going to hear. But so they know what's going on. The insurance commissioner knows what's going on. They would like to get a committee of insurance companies to come together and open up some dialogue. But so far it hasn't happened, but they're still trying to work on it. So.
Real quick, any individual property can be resilient to wildfire, and the more we have that are resilient, the better for the whole landscape, because that's what we're talking about here. State Fire Marshal is doing home assessments right now. My wife called real quick and they came in and they pointed out a few things, but it's truly just the needles in the gutters, the inside corners of your property, first 5 feet, next 30 feet, and this is exactly what we're doing here.
Well, I think that the issue is we have existing homes in the area that need to be mitigated and retrofitted and so forth. And then there's a lot of development in our county and in our cities. And so the Cities of Sisters has had a big initiative to look at its wildfire resiliency or its codes and how codes impact wildfire resiliency. Bend is going to be starting that effort. There's interest from community members in La Pine or La Pine City Council to do the same thing. It would be great if Redmond would do the same thing. It would be great if Deschutes County planning commissioners would also take a look at the codes and the policies and really assess whether or not they are improving our wildfire resiliency or harming it in any way in terms of new development and things like that. And it goes beyond just, the houses themselves, but also roadways. We need evacuation, right? And so forth. So there's this very, very large strategic sort of framework that we look at. So all of us have the ability to impact that, and you especially in your position as Deschutes County Commissioner. With respect to insurance matters within the Summit West Neighborhood District, and I know, this is just a very small piece of the pie, but in surveying our members, wildfire risk, wildfire or the insurance landscape is of great concern to people, big issue. On June 4th, we are having our membership annual community member meeting, and our focus will be on wildfire mitigation and preparedness, as well as insurance in today's environment. And we are having Matt Ramaj, the outreach coordinator with the Division of Financial Regulation, come to speak to our group, because there are resources at the state level that people need to know about. So he is a very good person to speak with respect to insurance matters. Another person who is might be, another person to connect with is Kenton Brine, and he's with the Northwest Insurance Council. And he gives presentations about insurance and emphasizes to communities the importance of being a fire-wise community. I think all of these individuals would be great speakers, to have at either Project Wildfire meeting or a community meeting or something like that. So.
So, yeah, the Deschutes County, our development codes and the best practices are in place. We've been doing this for years. Used to be, Sun River required or allowed, shake roof shingles, and now it's like, nope, we're never gonna do that. So that countywide, we don't allow shake roofs, fire rated shingles, cement siding, no open, understory decks. I mean, we do this already, but that's new development. And that's what we need to do here is propagating the best practices for existing development, for rural property owners. We've got a lot of, mid-70s, late 70s, 80s manufactured homes with a shop and a pile of wood out there and the 1 acre properties. And we just need to say, oh, well, with this existing development, how do we make that resilient to fire? Moving the firewood away from the house, getting the needles, making sure that the vegetation's away from the house, just the basics.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think as a risk assessor, because I have been going out and doing risk assessments for people, what we come across is we see foundation vents that are 1/4 inch screened, not adequate. We see wooden fences attached to homes, not best practice. So there are vulnerabilities that we see within our built environment. And these are new homes. So one of the assessments that we just did recently, brand new development here within Bend, new house, 1/4 inch foundation screening, the upper eaves were fine. But home to home to home, you have these wooden fences, and the person had just put in mulch around their fence and thrown in junipers.
That's why the whole subject
And
is so.
spent thousands of dollars, and now they're frustrated because they're like, oh, I mean, I hate to give bad news to people. It's like, oh, that's a huge hazard. That's a huge, huge hazard. And you basically wasted thousands of dollars on this landscaping.
But what's counterintuitive that most people think that your hazard is in the rural area outside the city limits. But really, when you look at history, if you're looking at a large consumption of homes from wildfire, it's the built environment because the city is densifying. And so when you have higher densities, you have closer homes together, usually 5 feet to property line, but they haven't changed their building code.
Right.
And like they've done in the commercial district, they changed their building code. They did this back in the 1920s because we lost downtown cores within cities.
Like Chicago.
Yeah, or even Bend and Astoria. And I go on and on and on because they're all built out of wood.
Yep.
So they said, if you're going to build close to the property line, you don't want to have structure to structure. But in cities, and I'll just pick on Bend, they haven't done that. Yet the homes are getting closer together. The access roads are getting smaller. There's no parking requirements now for residential, so it makes it tougher for fire trucks to get in and people to get out. So I would say in the future, if there's a higher risk, it's going to be within the city of Bend by the number of homes that are going to be lost from a high wind event than there would be in the rural district where the homes are spread out and people are using defensible space to protect their homes. Yes, they might lose the landscape, but they're not going to lose their home as easily within the city of Bend.
It's also the ember effect. Everybody forgets about embers. They think it's fire to fire, and it's really the embers that get it.
So, and I think that's one of the most valuable things. Years ago was the first time at a Project Wildfire meeting was play the video of just the Colorado test set or a couple of those ember shower videos. And all of a sudden the homeowner's like, oh, that's what I have to deal with. It's just like this ember shower that's going to drop on you from a 1/4 mile away. And are you going to be resilient to that? So I always go right back to that. In fact, we've had it, Park Fire about 15 years ago. We had nickel-sized embers dropping in our yard from the Lapine State Park. And that was the moment. The reality was like, oh my goodness. Luckily, it just kind of laid right down after it raged for a while. It didn't, but it was close.
I remember that when you have structures burning, the embers are this size.
Yeah,
They're not
but I'm
this size.
saying,
Yeah, but
just as a starting point, see, I'm just promoting, we should be putting that video up, beginning and end of every meeting here.
But when they do tests on when they do tests on asphalt roofs, they use the ember size. And so when we think of the small embers that are coming off the vegetation, it's much more hazardous when a structure is burning going up the thermal column. I've seen sheets of plywood coming off commercial buildings and falling
Yeah,
blocks
big, yeah.
away. So it's much more dangerous within the city if you go from structure to structure. And yes, embers are important. And 80% of the wildland fires where structures are burning are from embers. But when you get into what we saw in California,
Yeah.
that is structure to structure to structure. These structures are burning for 45 minutes. And the length of the heat over the time that the distance,
Boom. Like
you
the
take
fire.
structure to structure. And it's not only wind, but wind is a big factor. in it. Anyway, thank you.
What a great way to end the meeting.
Great conversation. I just don't want to keep anyone, longer than the meeting time. So it's 9:30.
Thank you.
I appreciate everyone's questions, conversation. Thank you so much, Jackie, for being here today.
Yeah.
It's been a really great meeting.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, no, good to see you, yeah.